Welcome to The Current by TreasureCoast.com, where we discuss interesting people, places, and happenings on Florida's Treasure Coast.
Well, Darryl, thanks for joining. I'm happy we could get together.
Thank you for inviting me.
Well, yeah, I reached out because I actually, I had followed Bluebird when you guys were opening it up. I had Mayor Hudson on, and we had kind of talked about new things going on, and I think we just in passing had mentioned it because it was a hot topic for a lot of people, at least on social media. And so I'm interested to hear how things are going with that, and if we could go back as well and maybe talk about your history in the city and what you've done. Um, and maybe build us back to what you're doing today.
Okay. Well, I've been in Fort Pierce for 31 years. About 25 years ago, my wife and I, my wife started a baking business called Gina's Bakeshop. And I started a production company here in Fort Pierce called Bluebird Productions. And my wife was selling her baked goods at the farmers market downtown Fort Pierce. And I was promoting shows in and around the state, the county, the city. And in fact, I used to do a lot of shows at the Sunrise Theater. And so my wife and I decided that we had a property here on Delaware Avenue. It's a 100-year-old historic home. And we're in the Oakland Park neighborhood, which is a historic district itself. And it's also the Peacock Art District. So we owned this home, and we decided that we would bring both of our passions together, her passion for baking and my passion for music. And I'm also a wine enthusiast. So there came about Bluebird Bakery, Bistro, and Wine Bar. It's the passion of my wife's of baking, mine of music, and of being a wine enthusiast. That's how it really came together.
That's good to hear. How have things been going so far? I know you've been open for a fairly short amount of time, but I know that as it started to open up, a lot of people kind of got excited because of that, because they probably have seen you and your wife around town, or they've heard of you, or they in different facets, maybe even cross paths. So how are things developing there?
Things are coming along. We opened up March 14th, which was right at the end of season. We opened with a big grand opening event. We had a blues band from Memphis, Tennessee come up. The grand opening was a invitation only, and that particular day of the opening. But then that weekend, we invited the public in. Things have been going well, considering that we opened at the tail end of season. And what we're doing now is trying to work out all the bugs and get our feet under us, so that when season comes, we can really hit them hard.
That
But
seems
things are good. We're excited. We think that. Go ahead.
well. No, I was just going to say that seems to be a
Things are good.
recurring theme. People are kind of doing housekeeping until season kicks back in, and I'm sure you guys will see some success then.
Yeah, I think so. We're getting a lot of positive feedback. Um, Unfortunately, fortunately or unfortunately, the winter community, the snowbirds as they're called, play a significant role in the economics of this area. So when they come, it's like a shot in the arm, and we're really looking forward to that.
You were one of the founders of the Jazz and Blues Society. Is that right?
Yes, Larry Lee and I formed the Fort Pierce Jazz and Blues Society back in 1996.
Is that was that around the same time that you? So that must have been after your production company, and maybe as that passion grew here locally, you started that, and obviously that plays a role as well in some of the events going on in Fort Pierce.
Well, actually, my production company started in another state before I came here, and I brought it here with me.
Right.
And we were, I was doing things I was the creative director for the, as well as the president of the Jazz Society. I was booking all their acts and promoting a lot of events for them. And I was also doing some things for my own production company. At the time, we were really busy with the Jazz Society because when it first hit, it was when we first started it, it was a big hit in town. And you got to remember, I don't know if you've been here since then, but in 1996 there really wasn't a lot to do in Fort Pierce. I mean, depending on what you like to do. In fact, what I mean is there wasn't hardly any, if no, jazz around. If you like jazz
Yeah.
or any kind of progressive music, there wasn't any around. So we kind of hit the town by storm, and people were really excited about what we were doing at the time.
Yeah, I'm sure that that would be the case because that seems to be a recurring conversation that a lot of people have where all along the Treasure Coast, especially when you go back to the 90s, if you look in Stewart, most of Martin County into St. Lucie County into Indian River County from Vero Beach down to Stewart and Hope Sound, that's been I think a big evolution is things to do or maybe things that maybe reflect people's interests a little bit more. Um, and a big part of that, I think, is people like you who bring your own passions out and start to build it out, especially as more eyes are coming into the area. Like I feel on a state level or even on a national level, a lot of people are looking at Fort Pierce as a place that's really been putting a lot of work into like its downtown district now is just phenomenal. You go down there, it's alive, and a lot of places along the Treasure Coast, I think, are getting to that place where okay, maybe they don't want to be as big as some of these South Florida metropolitan areas, but they want to provide things to do that reflect the people living there.
Yes, yes. And with the influx of Northerners moving here, and Southerners from Miami and Fort Lauderdale and that area, uh, we've had to, or we're developing cultural uh, uh, interests that they will enjoy. Because you kind of have to do
Yeah,
that. You kind of have to be diverse in what you in your offerings. Yeah,
yeah.
as a city.
Well, how does that play a role in Bluebird? Are you bringing? I mean, you guys are doing. Are you bringing in local musicians, or I know you said for the grand opening it was someone from out of state that came in. How is that incorporated?
Well, I'm a professional concert promoter and impresario, and I have connections with all of the major entertainment agencies throughout the country. So I have access to national acts. And, my philosophy has always been that I want to bring people to town that are on a national level, because you can always go to the corner bar and see Joe Blow and the Schmoes, but you can't necessarily go to the corner bar and see some national act that brings a bunch of creativity to the town. And not to say that the local scene doesn't do that, but I think for me there's been a bigger emphasis on bringing locals. Now, I've worked with all of, I mean, I'm sorry, I worked with national touring acts,
Yeah,
but I've worked with all of the great local bands and as well over the years. And one of the things that I kind of became a specialty for me whenever I was able to book a national touring artist. I got a commitment for them to come in and do a workshop or a master class or a talk, a demonstration, a concert for school kids, because that's really what it's all about. Because the only way that you can develop as a city is to build cultural identity, cultural awareness, and you do that by working with kids, because by the time people get our age they're pretty much set in their ways with what they want to listen to, what
sure.
kind of arts and culture they want to participate in. But kids are developing, and that's how you start to change and make your city diverse in everything.
That's really cool. I didn't realize that. That's an awesome. side. I feel like for the musician, of course, it's a way for them to give back, but then it's also a way for kids to kind of participate in what they see around them. They see the adults doing things, they see what people are interested in or what people are gathering around. It's a way for them to kind of maybe get involved from an early age. That's cool.
And what one of the things that really impressed me was the influence that these artists have on kids. I remember going to some rehearsals that kids were. One of the things that we used to do, we used to have a situation where we were bringing a national act, and we would have like a local middle school or high school band open for the national act, or either participate to some degree with the national act musically.
Yeah.
And I remember going to some rehearsals where the kids were getting prepared to do this, and during the rehearsals they sounded like average, high school, middle school bands. But on the day that they performed with the national artists, it was like the level of artistry just went through the roof, and that was
Wow.
really something that turned me on. It was just amazing how that influence really inspired the kids.
Yeah, that's a testament to, I'm sure, what they feel, the pride that they probably feel in being able to take part in that.
Yes, yes.
What do you have for so that covers, I guess, the musical or the entertainment side at Bluebird, and your own history of it. What is the menu like there? What kind of things are you offering? I mean, I it might be a good thing to touch on for people listening, because especially those of them who are in St. Lucie County have probably heard of it,
Hmm.
but it'd be good to touch on what kind of drinks and food that you offer there.
Well, we're actually a wine bar, so we sell craft beers and the best domestic beers, and we sell wines from California and from around the world. We have a sommelier on our staff, a wine expert. Excuse me, and we do wine tastings during season every Thursday night, and off season every other Thursday. And that's been going really well. And we've been able to educate and expose people to a lot of really great wines and great information about wines and the areas that the grapes grow in and that sort of thing. Our menu consists of soup, salad, sandwiches, and our specialty is our charcuterie boards. And one of the things that we are not trying to do, we're not trying to become a full service restaurant. We're a bistro. And a bistro is a place where you can come, and it's more of a quicker uh, service, and it's some to some degree is self-serve, and we have great dishes with a great chef, and we really want people to come out and check us out.
Yeah, that's, I can see how that's probably beneficial for people who are visiting too, because it's something that might be light fare, or it's quick, or it pairs well with something that they're drinking, especially if they're coming out to grab a drink and maybe listen to some good music. Um, they're probably not looking to come out and get a big bowl of jambalaya or something.
Yeah, yeah,
Well,
I agree.
so
And there may be a time in the near future where you might be able to come here and get a big bowl of jambalaya as a special. You get me?
right, right,
So
right.
nothing's off the table, but right now that's where our menu is, and it's sort of like tapas, small plates,
Yeah.
that kind of concept. Yeah. Hmm.
So what's on the plan? Do you have anything in the works as season gears up? I mean, I know it's only July now, but before we know it, we'll be kicking into like fall holiday season. Is there anything that you're looking at? I know you had mentioned the wine tastings were going to be weekly from then on. Do you have anything else that you're thinking of putting into the works as we get closer that people might be able to kind of put in their calendar?
Well, one of the things we want to do is food and wine pairings, where you could have maybe a three or four course meal with a wine that pairs with each course. That's something that we're looking at doing. We're looking at doing entertainment, bringing in national touring acts as well as local acts. And when I say local, I don't necessarily mean just Fort Pierce, St. Lucie County, but Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando. To me, those are all what I consider to be local acts. So we plan on bolstering our entertainment offerings for season. Yes, and at this time, I'm in the process of negotiating some deals and talking with artists about coming here who are going to be in the state, touring in and around Florida or in neighboring states.
That's very interesting. Just out of curiosity, what is the recept? I mean, because obviously you have contacts, so it's a little bit warmer of an outreach for you with a lot of these people.
Hmm.
But what is it? What is the feedback like when you talk to these people and you say, "Hey, come to our spot here in Fort Pierce"? I'm sure anywhere on the Treasure Coast, it might be a smaller area. You know, most of them probably have visited Orlando or Miami. Is there a lot of excitement for them to visit a place like here on the Treasure Coast or in Fort Pierce?
Oh, absolutely. And one of the things that we the jazz when I was with the Jazz Society as well as with my company Bluebird Productions, we kind of helped put Fort Pierce on the map,
Yeah.
and in terms of the entertainment industry, because during particularly during the years that I was involved with the Jazz Society, which was about 11 years, we brought international artists in from other countries. We brought artists from New York, from Chicago, from California. So Fort Pierce is kind of known throughout the entertainment industry as a place to be reckoned with in terms of entertainment. I get people calling me all the time based on some of the past dealings that I've had with artists, with agents bringing artists here.
Yeah, that makes sense. I was thinking about that because if you go back to 1996, that's a long history of people who have probably been here or they've talked to people who have been here, especially as the area is growing. You know, St. Lucie County, just the population alone, but the economic impact of it has grown so much in the last 30 years. Um, I'm sure there's a lot of pros to people who are coming to the area and are going to perform. Are these people? Are they also going to be doing? Are children and things like that going to be involved in some of these performances, or are these strictly just people who are coming to perform at Bluebird?
Well, one of the things I'm working on is I also have a nonprofit organization called Bluebird
Right.
Educational Foundation. And what I've done in the past and what I'm trying to work on now is partnering with our foundation so that we can bring an artist in jointly. The artist can do a master class and workshop or demonstration or a small concert at a school during the day and do a performance here at the bistro that evening. So those are some of the kind of things that I'm looking at doing as well. Because I always want to keep the kids in the loop when I bring in artists.
Yeah, that's great, and it lets them, I guess, get a little bit more activity too while they're here. It's not just one thing and they're out or that kind of thing.
Right.
How about
Right. And
for? No, go ahead, please.
I find that most artists, particularly the national touring artists, they love to work with kids. They love to provide to share with the kids their knowledge and their experiences that they've had over the years.
Yeah, I could see that being very valuable for anybody who's got a skill. It's always rewarding to teach it to kids, especially when they have a pride in it and an interest in it, and they want to get better at it. How about for the bake shop? I imagine that's still going on. Is there anything new that your wife's been working on for the bakery itself, or is it kind of transitioning most of the stuff that she's kind of specialized over a long period of time, and it's just at a more, um, uh, I guess, the daily level? It's more than just not accessing it at the farmers market. Now you can get it any day.
Correct. No, Pretty much over the 30 years that my wife was at the farmer's market, she had certain products that people would just come and line up to buy. And every now and then she would introduce new things, new products to her lineup of goods that she sold. But she's pretty much uh, sustaining the things that has made a name for herself on, and providing them with an occasional new offering to keep people's interest.
Nice. That sounds great. What else do you want to touch on? I mean, I want to make sure we cover things that you've done for the community. Is there anything that you want to talk about with that or with Bluebird that you think are important before we finish up?
Well, one of the things that I'm most proud of is my efforts and time that I spent not only with the Jazz and Blues Society, but in most recent years with the foundation that we formed called Bluebird Educational Foundation. We have a program called Key of E, Recycling in the Key of E. We call it the RIKE program for short. And with that program, we get instruments donated, we get money donated, and we have partners that run music stores, instrument repair stores. And we get instruments, we give them to our partners, they repair them or adjust them. And then every year we donate these instruments to kids. And that's something that I'm most proud of because I remember growing up as a kid, the help that I got because I was a musician as a kid. And so I feel like that's something that I should do is give back. But when a kid owns his own instrument, it's nothing like that. And for kids who are serious about being musicians, uh, owning your own instrument coupled with music lessons is the best of both worlds. So that's something that I'm really proud of. And in fact, last year, the foundation gave away 40 musical instruments to kids. And we do this in conjunction with the St. Lucie County School District. And every year in October, we go before the St. Lucie County School Board meeting, and which is televised, and we give away instruments to kids. And since 2008, when we first started this, we've given away over 500 instruments, and we've really touched the lives of some kids positively. And we used to have a motto that we would rather put an instrument in a kid's hand than a gun. And because, as you know, there's so many things that influence kids that we need to keep positive influences in front of them, and instruments are one of those positive influences. Uh, yes, I also plan on furthering the workshops and master classes that the foundation does. And like I said, I hope to form a partnership between the foundation and the bistro so that we can bring artists here during the day to work in schools with kids and do concerts here at the bistro at night. That's something that I'm really proud of.
That sounds really that's amazing. 40 instruments, that's a pretty big impact, especially I mean, like you had said, I think especially today more than ever, having kids, I took piano lessons when I was younger and I know that feeling of like it's a whole new world when you're sitting there and you can make any type of music you want or you can play anything you want. And with social media, basically, really captivating a lot of kids' attention. I'm sure a position like yours, where you're able to give them another outlet to focus that attention, that's really invaluable.
Yeah. And when I harken back to growing up, I was so involved in music, between music lessons and playing in small ensembles and practicing and rehearsals. I never really had time to get in trouble because I was always busy doing
Yeah,
something, particularly with music. So and like they say, idle time is the devil workshop.
exactly. Yeah.
So once you can take that element out of it, then you can kind of give kids an option of something positive to do.
That's great. We'll include some links to all this when we publish the podcast. I mean, of course, to the restaurant and the the blue siding, the foundation, and that kind of stuff, so people can get some more information. And of course, if there's ever something that you guys are looking to get more exposure for, send it over to me. If you want to text it or email it to me, we'd love to help push it out. And just try to get in front of more people. I know there's a lot of people here locally who want to get involved in positive things that are going on. That's a big reason that we started the podcast here, is to kind of highlight people who are doing interesting things, who are giving back, especially who have been giving back for a long time, into the community, because that's really kind of what makes it where it is today. It doesn't really happen by accident. So we appreciate what you've done and really wish you all the best with Bluebird. I'm sure that as you guys continue to get your systems and people continue to know it, it'll continue to be a success. And we're happy to see how that continues to grow. That's great. I'll include that in the link in the write up when I post this, so people can get some information. And oh, go ahead. Yeah. That's great. Yeah, and we can include your Facebook as well, because that might be a good place for people to, if they follow Bluebird on Facebook, they can see whatever events are coming up. I'm sure you guys might post if something new is coming out, or that's great. Well, Darryl, thanks so much for joining me. Really, it was great talking with you. I was excited to have this conversation, but I appreciate your time, and I appreciate what you've been doing for the city and what you continue to do.
That's a wrap for this episode of The Current by TreasureCoast.com. If you enjoyed the conversation, be sure to subscribe so you never miss an episode. You can find us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and YouTube. Follow us on social media or visit TreasureCoast.com for local events, tips, and news. Have a guest or topic you'd love to hear on the show? Let us know at TreasureCoast.com. Until next time, keep riding the current and enjoying everything the Treasure Coast has to offer. See you soon.